Yo. So I wanted to intro today's podcast guest. I had no idea that Kevin was friends with this guy for years because I actually started following his content for about a year now without knowing that. So 30 minutes before he walks in through the door, Kevin tells me that he's homies with this guy. So I was super stoked, as you can imagine. We had a great talk. His primary hustle is building these custom van builds for sprinters that are super luxurious and super cool. I'll leave the link in the description. You could take a look through his socials, how freaking amazing they are. But beyond that, he's all about bringing communities together. He's an entrepreneurial mastermind. He's just got so many different things going on, and they're all dope. So without further ado, here's the episode.
Try to be people of action, right? You know, you want to be able to execute stuff that you think about.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to do stuff. So we're talking on like a Thursday and we go, hey, we should start a podcast. And then on Monday, we're setting up cameras and microphones and lights and everything.
That's awesome.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, I'll bring some artwork in. How cool are these? Yeah. And then, he brought in all his camera equipment and stuff. And we're fortunate enough he had some of this stuff already. So
this is cool. Easy. You got all the angles, all your shots. Super cool.
This is a budget build a bit though. Like Kevin said, we're going to be building out like actual...
We'll need like A7s or...
Yeah, we'll get some... We got to upgrade the cameras. This is cheapo for sure. But mics I already had because I came from like a audio engineering background in college. I've produced podcasts before. So.
Okay, these are Audio Technicas.
They're Audio Technicas.
Yeah.
I do have a 7B at home, but I didn't want to buy like 3 more. But everybody's got 7Bs.
Yeah. I was about to get one of those too.
Well,
yeah, they're nice for sure.
We'll invest in it once the other one's ready. I mean, there's no reason to do it right now for a couple weeks or a month.
Yeah. Dude, so I can't wait for that. I would love to. I have so many ideas for different podcasts that I want to do, and I would love to just come in there and start like churning through podcasts.
I think you just do a Shaiden podcast and then just have a bunch of different ideas in those things, and then what you can do is like cut out content for different outlets. So like you'd create a podcast where you talk about general stuff, but then you'd have things that flow to the van world and business and lifestyle and all the stuff that you're into.
All the weird things. There's tons of it. Every day there's a new thing.
Yeah. So you're awesome. Okay. So back to the thing you're doing, right? So you're building a. It's basically it's something that's interesting. I mean, I when you said it, I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Yeah.
To put together a mastermind, but then have it be like a live together type of thing.
Like why end it after an hour?
Yeah, you could just live it together.
Yeah.
And are these people that you are? Do you know everybody so far that's signed up for it? Or
yeah. Okay. So it's basically. You know me, I'm obsessed with co-living. I like communities. I like connection. I like alternative housing. I like solving problems, and people keep having this issue of like not having, most people don't like have the credit figured out. Like all these people that are, kind of like me, like my credit score goes up and down 200 points every month. It's like, cause I pull a bunch of money out on a 0% card or whatever. So it's like, everybody's like that. Nobody has a W-2 anymore. Nobody has a 1099. It's kind of just like, basically nobody else in this house has like a valid application if they were trying to go get a place on their own, but I know them and I know they can afford it, and I'm not worried about it.
So they have cash, but they don't have any credit.
So it's like, this is a cool opportunity, like in the fact that I'm willing to, I guess, take on that risk or whatever, or see it from a different perspective. There's that margin, and that margin is essentially that I get to live there for free and control this mansion.
Yeah.
And throw sick parties and just collaborative events and dinner parties and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you're house hacking, basically, but you're also creating a community of like-minded people, and that community is focused on business and growth and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
I would say that. Well, how long are you proposing to do that lease?
Probably. So the owners. This is kind of a weird situation, and first of all. This is a very weird situation that just like fell out into my lap out of the universe. I don't think there's anything else like it. I genuinely don't. they're proposing a 6-month lease. They just agreed finally to a year lease, but they're gonna 1031 the property in like a year, so they need to classify it as an investment property.
So they want to sell it, yeah.
Yeah, they want to sell it in a year or 2 years.
Okay.
So it's just basically this fills the end for them, and it helps them. You know, they were gonna get, let's say, 17 on their own for a family, and now they're gonna get 20 from us, and their carry costs are 22.6. So they're stoked that they basically can get closer to their nut every month without having to really take on that much risk, because I'm just putting down a bigger deposit. So it's like, and I'm liable for it. So either way, they're going to get paid every month.
Yeah. Hold on. What's that?
I think it's the table. I was just thinking.
There's a tapping sound.
Yeah.
So that could be me
Maybe.
moving around,
Yeah.
fidgeting around.
Should be good.
Is that what it is?
That wouldn't surprise me.
We'll just see.
That's okay.
Okay.
We'll see if it keeps going.
I was hearing this faint tapping sound in the background. I didn't know.
Yeah. What's the project called? Because I had no idea this was going on. Like Kevin just mentioned it to me today, and I think I saw the post on your Instagram that just went up.
This is the last 3 days. So
oh wow,
I started this 4 days ago. I mean, we've been looking for a house. Me and a few friends have been looking for a house for a couple weeks. We put in an application on one that was really cool. It's very rare to find, like, if you look on Zillow at 7,500 square feet plus five bedrooms plus and 4 bathrooms plus under 25 grand, there's like 3 options in San Diego.
Yeah.
And then there's like 5 options in LA, and then like 3 options in the Bay. So
wow,
there's like very few houses. And then if you find ones that are furnished, that cuts it in half again.
Yeah.
And if you find ones that are furnished with a landlord that's okay with a group that's not a family moving in, that's nothing.
So are you
like,
so this is coming furnished also?
Fully furnished.
Yeah.
And they're okay with me having up to 10 subleases.
Wow.
Which is like,
yeah.
It's just, they're just a very creative family, and they're open to it because they can make more money.
I mean, being the nit that I am, I would be like, I would bring these guys in and just go, hey, I need a year commitment. And even if they don't have credit, you go, look, you're on the hook for $30,000, right?
Yeah, like
that's what
actually sign a year lease with everybody.
So I'm just going to need some sort of collateral, right? And so, but you don't intend on ever collecting on any of that stuff, but it's, hey, I'm taking all this risk here. I'm on the hook for $400,000, right?
Yeah.
Or $350,000, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
And if they're serious about it and they're your friends and you go, hey, look, I have no intention of collecting this stuff, but don't screw me.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to have some security in this thing, because if you give them the option of doing like month to month, because I noticed on one of your things it was like month to month.
Yeah.
If somebody bails on you, that's fine. It's one person. You just pay your rent, right? Yeah. $2,500. No big deal.
If 10 people bail.
If everybody bails on you,
I'm fucked.
Yeah, like all this, any money that you had ever saved, which I'm guessing you seem like someone who likes to deploy all your capital all the time. It's right. It's always in and out. It's pretty risky,
Yeah.
It's
luckily I know, because I've run my house for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I've had 7 people at my house, in and out between.
Yeah.
I have vans that access the house and all kinds of things. But I know the market pretty well, and I know I basically just know how difficult it is to find roommates at a certain price.
Yeah.
So
I would think that is it harder to find people at this price? Obviously, I mean, if you're asking people for $1,000 versus $3,000, how much different does it get?
I think it's hard without the house existing and without the marketing content, without the videos. The second that house is open, we're going to throw a huge housewarming party, dinner party, live music, fire dancing.
Yeah.
I'll bring in a videographer, and then I think the house will be like waitlisted.
If you waitlist it, do you have people, you think people would be willing to come in, within a month's notice? Like they're living in a van, they're like, you know what, we want to live in this house.
I think they come to a party there and they feel the energy.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I think, for me doing it versus like some random person, is that that's like what I'm good at, is curating that energy and making it feel like just magic, where people are like, I don't want to just come here tonight. Like, I want to stay here. How do I stay here? Can I stay in a closet? Can I park in the driveway?
You're like, yes, closets are $800 a month.
People are already offering that. I have people that are texting me like, can I live in the closet? Do you have a tiny little room with my dog? Like,
I think the value is really in the community more than the housing.
Of course.
Like if you're with people who are like-minded and are doing things, right? And that's also one of the benefits of having a higher rent price, than house hacking a smaller place for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, right? Is that these people are motivated and financially,
high caliber
and high caliber people.
Yeah,
hopefully.
It's self-selecting. Like anyone who's willing to spend the same as an apartment on a
One
communal
room,
house is obviously like it filters out so much of it already.
Yeah.
They have the same value system as me. They understand the value of the community.
So maybe go month to month with a deposit.
Yeah, for sure. That's the plan, is month to month with first and last month's rent.
Yeah, and then just keep building that wait list.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, like, worst case scenario, the way I look at it is, because I'm living there for, not free. I don't want to say that because I'm fronting the cash for the deposit. But basically, I'm only fronting, they want 80 grand up front, and I'm fronting all in. I'll be fronting 25 of or 35 of it, because I'm going to collect 25 as a deposit from all the first, tenants, basically. So it's like I'm going to get the first month's rent plus their last month's rent, and then I'll be holding that 25 at all times. And so realistically, I'm only ever, letting 35 grand sit, which is not. And I'm basically getting like 50 grand a year of value for me personally, just out of my room, my office, and my garage spot. So it's like, I'm basically getting a $50,000 return on my $35,000 investment, with the vacancies built in, with the risk, and with like some management duties. But I just know those things. I know how much those are, how difficult those are actually are, and I'm just good at that stuff. So it's like I can just, like, basically I'm going to score over there. I bet you anything in a year I'll look back and be like, hell yeah.
I think just building the relationships and any of the business ideas and partnerships that come out of it, I think will be significantly more valuable than the rent.
Yeah.
And you'd hope that in something like that all the people who are there would also achieve that same sort of success and ROI through just being together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That, as far as like the people who are in the house, though, I mean, it's going to be hard to get someone who is, well, it depends. You're not going to get, you already rule out people with families, right?
Yeah.
Even couples might be harder to come by, though couples would do it, I think, if they were like-minded, like.
It's going to become a reality show if you do couples, though. That's the problem.
We have two couples.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We already have two couples. They're taking the master, and then there's like a secondary master.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it actually helps because then, it's hard to get a single person to pay what the master's worth.
Right.
It's kind of a double room. So,
sure.
Yeah.
But so as far as those people are concerned, though, it's like, do you have, I guess, someone who can help everyone there out more in a mentor capacity? You know what I mean? Like, since everyone's there to learn and grow, if everybody's at the same level, right, or similar level, where does the growth come from other than just collaboration? Collaboration is great, but it's always easier if you have someone who has kind of been there and done that and is helping you along the way.
That would be super cool to bring someone in, like, and eventually it'd be really cool to build the budget out where there's one other free room that is basically like a business mentor that lives there kind of for free, and you just know that like their conversations are worth, someone who's just so successful, and we're like, hey, we're gonna bring you in, and you just get to like enjoy this space, and just kind of like, if people have questions or want to have conversations, maybe something like that. But the cool part is, in this group that I'm curating right now, like, I'm saying no to some people, saying yes to some people. I'm trying to make it diverse enough to where everybody is. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. Like, I want different political beliefs and different even career paths and different life paths. Like, we have some people that are, not to like rate people, but we have some people that are like a 10 in spirituality and, a 5 in finances. Some people that are a 10 in finances and a 5 in, it's like, one of the guys moving in, his name's Prem. He's lived in an ashram in India for 10 years. He's been a monk for 10 years and brings just this plethora of mindfulness and like calmness and peace. And he meditates every morning for an hour and plays music and cooks gourmet meals and can cook for 100 people and cater events for us. Like, so we can throw big dinner parties and, but then I have another friend who is moving in who, makes 300 grand a month on YouTube and brings the finance, so we're bringing like this mixture of talents and gifts.
That's awesome.
And also genders, hopefully. So, I'm trying to keep it balanced so that it's not just...
Well, there's like 40 genders now, so you should be able to pick out of any of them.
We got to hit all of them. We got to hit every single one. But it's just, I want it to be diverse enough to where, like, you're never having a conversation with someone and getting too deep into an echo chamber where you're like,
What I just had a thought, like what if you charge a little more, right? Whatever, it's $500 a month more, $1,000 a month more, but then you baked in all the programming that goes along with it, right?
Yeah.
So like
the dinner parties once a month.
Right. Be like, the dinner parties are in there, so you're not collecting money a bunch of times. Like, hey, look, this is included. The dinner parties are included. Show up, right?
Yeah.
We're bringing in a mentor to come do a talk or to hang out for a couple days, and this is going to help provide them with just their food and beverage or whatever, the cost of having them there. I don't know if you necessarily need to pay those kind of guys, because I think they'll get value from coming in and trying to instill a little bit of benefit into those, into the younger generation or to those who are trying to come up. That could be an interesting way to do it, as opposed to having to go around asking for Venmos every time for dinner. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. I think there's it's really about how much time I'm willing to wait, and also this house, I kind of need to secure this because this deal is fleeting, and it's a rare opportunity. So I kind of got to get it started. Yeah. It's almost like you kind of got to act before the lights all turn green.
Aren't you? You're going back to look at it today, aren't you?
Yeah. I've looked at it twice. I'm about to send the deposit tonight. Probably even without the rooms filled. I'm just going to send.
Awesome.
I'm just going to go for it.
You get it done.
It's just once I send the money. Yeah. That's always how it works. Once I send the money and I have any skin in the game, even if it's a little bit of skin in the game, like I'm super cheap. Like if I send $5,000 right now, and that's non-refundable, I will fill these rooms like probably tomorrow. Yeah. Like it's just.
You're like, I need your deposit right now. Give it to me.
I almost have to do it for myself. You know, like I kind of have to light a fire under my own ass.
I think that's always the case, man. Like people don't, and I don't see this from you at all. Like a lot of people who are sitting there with great ideas don't ever act on them. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Us doing a podcast is like, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but we're sure as hell gonna just try and do it. Yeah. And you'll only ever know if you just jump in the water and figure it out, right? Because if you're resourceful enough and you try hard enough, filling rooms like that, it's not a piece of cake.
Yeah. It's not the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah, you might have to try a little harder. You might have to try a little harder if it's not like you haven't, you don't have it dialed in, but it's not like you haven't thought about this for a while, right? You've been thinking about it for a long time. You've been doing similar things for a long time as well.
I've been building my skill set in the same area. So it's like I do have the experience to like, and plus I like to live at my edge, like I always am thinking about that. Like I'm always trying to live at the edge. And, for example, there's been ideas I've talked to you about before with other co-living that's beyond my edge. Yeah. It's just realistically beyond my edge. I hadn't like built the capacity, the capital, or the skill set to take down a beast like that yet.
Yeah, but you did a lot of work on that. And I think it's cool because you learn a lot of things too, right? You know what's you know a little bit of more of what's possible or plausible in your current situation. Yeah. And then you dial it down. You got a house. You brought a bunch of people in there. Yeah. You guys have clouds in the living room and a DJ booth.
We do have clouds in the living room. And that was a great test run, and it worked out great. And it's created a space that has like helped everyone loves it. All my friends are just like, no, the house is, we're losing the house. Like, and it's hard for me because that's my first house. I love it, but
I always see the Instagram videos. They got like the DJs going. They got like a cloud thing that goes into the ceiling, and the lights are going.
It is kind of a trippy early 20s living room. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's who you guys are, though.
That's the magic of it. Yeah, we have a flamethrower, and
I can't believe
DJ booth. And
we're talking about this. I ordered that flamethrower too, and I canceled it because I was just like, oh, it's not coming. Whatever. Yeah. I canceled the order for it. Yeah. You waited it out.
Well, I just found one on OfferUp, and I'm flipping it. So.
Oh, you found another one on OfferUp?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
As with everything else, I just flip everything. So it's like I find it on OfferUp, go lowball the guy, get it, and then it's like as long as I'm getting it for less than it's worth, I'm down.
Are you still driving the Model X around?
No, I sold that.
You sold that one?
I sold that, unfortunately, and I just bought a Model 3 Performance yesterday, just for fun, and I'm flipping that too. But the Model X was so fun, but I needed the cash for my business because I just bought 3. I have 3.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kind of like, and I'm spec building all those. I have no deposits on any of them, so it's like,
oh yeah, like that's a big capital outlay.
Like, and I'm not only doing them, but I'm doing them like nicer than any van that's ever been built.
Sure.
Like they're like
better than my van.
The materials cost is through the roof. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like those vans are going to be.
Are you putting the incinerator toilets in there again?
We are going back to that. Yeah.
You know what?
And steam rooms and red light therapy.
Look, the incinerator toilet is such a great idea. Do you know what these are?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So
Of
course.
I got
I'm
a
a follower, bro.
All right. I got like one of those Cinderella cartridge toilets. Oh no, the Cinderella's the incinerator toilet.
Yeah.
I got the Laveo, which is a cartridge thing, right? It's basically got an aluminum looking material cartridge that ties up your poop, right? It spins it around so it doesn't smell that bad.
Turns it into a sausage.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and you get like 15 flushes out of it or whatever, and the smell is supposed to be not that bad. Well, mine was like smelling funky, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, there's no reason for this to smell bad, but it wasn't that bad. And then recently we took it on a trip, and my son, and we hadn't used the toilet in forever, right? I had to actually recharge it just to make sure the battery was going to be good. And he accidentally hits the little button for the flusher, and it starts doing something, and the smell is just out of control. Like I'm going, oh my God, what happened? I rolled out all the windows. I'm like, open all the back windows because we're driving, you know? And then when we get to the campsite, we went out to Mount Whitney, and my wife was like, I can't stand this anymore, because the smell kind of dissipated, you know, but every time she'd walk by, she'd get a whiff, and she's like, oh, so she puts it outside, right? And the whole trip, it's sitting outside. The girls peed in it a couple times. There was a bathroom at the campsite, so they used.
Oh, that was this weekend when you went.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
jeez.
No, but you know, there's a bathroom at the campsite. It's just a hole in the ground with a toilet on top, right? But so we're using that bathroom, but every once in a while, like late night, my girls don't want to walk all the way to the bathroom. They just go pee in that thing, right? And I'm like, at the end of the trip, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of this cartridge. Why am I being cheap about like $10, right? So I go and I flush it one last time to seal it off, and I go to lift up. There's a little like tab thing. I lift it up, and there's a trash bag around it so that you can dispose of it all together. I pull up the trash can, and I tie it all off, and I pick it up, and it had been leaking for like a year.
Oh,
all over the toilet.
All over the but the inside, thankfully, it's like a little plastic bucket, like a bowl, and it's completely sealed. But it had just been stewing in there for like a year. Dude. And when my son hit the flush, right, it agitated it, and that's what made it smell like crazy. Oh my God. And I like dumped it out, and I went to go rinse it out in the stream, and my wife's like, you can't rinse it out in the stream, people swim in that. I'm like, dude, it is nothing in here. Bears poop in here, fish poop in here. Like, this is not clean water. But I can't believe it. Over a couple dollars, I let that stuff stew for like a year.
Dude, I know, because you don't want to throw away a cartridge. I know, I've been in the same boat. It's an issue.
It's $1 a flush.
Yeah.
My wife was like,
$2 a flush.
Is it $2 a flush?
Yeah, it's $2.
Yeah, and my wife was like, oh, if you just pee in it, we should flush it. I'm like, no. You don't pee
just let it sit there. Yeah. We all got to pee in it at the same time.
That's right. You got to get at least like 5 pees in there. You put the pee powder on top, and then you go and flush it, you know? There's no pee that's worth $2.
What's the saying? It's like, if it's yellow, it's mellow.
If it's brown, flush it down.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, look, it was pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've always joked about that. I'm like, if I really wanted to mess with one of my friends, I would just like cut a little
poke a hole at the bottom.
Just the very They're just like in their cartridges. I know where their cartridges are. Just cut little holes in their cartridges. Dude, it's just such a like. If anyone ever messes with me in my friend group, I know exactly where to hit them. It
is the worst. I mean, it is terrible. But so every car, it would be great if you could have one of these the Cinderella toilets that do the incinerator stuff. But it takes up like half your battery to flush it once.
Well, we were gonna, you know, the first one would take 10% of my battery per flush, but I had a huge battery.
Actually, that's not that bad. Oh, you had the big battery.
But that was still, to go pee, you're gonna use 10%, and then she has to go pee in 10%, and then he has to go pee in 10%. Now you're using 30-40% of your battery per day. Like, that didn't make sense. So we're switching back to propane incinerating toilets. So we're gonna have one propane tank in the garage. And you can have an extra one, but that gets you 100 flushes of poop and 200 flushes of pee per 5-gallon barbecue tank, which is insane.
Oh, that's really good.
It's super good.
Is it?
So you put a liner in, and you just press the button, and it knows, like, it's reading the humidity, I believe, in the chamber. So it's like a super
it doesn't waste. Like, then if you have a little bit of pee, it only burns that off.
It knows what to do. It has like a cycle, and so, you know, that I think is the ultimate solution. The problem is ducting it properly, so that, like, the main issue I had on mine was when you're driving down the freeway, like, sometimes there'd be like like one time it was flushing and burning and there was back pressure and there's like smoke was like coming out of the lid of the toilet into the van, and that smoke is like that's just burning
poop.
shit.
It's poop.
And it was like, dude, that was pretty bad. That was pretty tragic.
Wow.
And I was like, I just turned the breaker off.
That is a tough lesson to
I don't know
learn.
what to do right now. Like, that was bad. So you gotta have it all like there's a new duct that we found that like goes out the top and sucks the air in properly, and it's only if the front windows were open, because it created like this like pressure effect where like it just sucked the air
Yeah,
out
you figured that out the hard way.
Yeah, it was basically turned the toilet into like a bong of
Oh my
poop
gosh,
smoke.
man.
Like pushing it backwards and it's like
Oh gosh, that's
so
gnarly.
anyway,
Is that rank that amongst the worst things to happen in a van?
that was one of the worst for sure. I've also had a water. I drilled in the back of my water tank once and didn't realize it, and then I filled up the water tank and I just kept filling it, and it's just like flowing under my subfloor at the end of the build. Like I built the whole van, my first van.
Oh my god.
And then I was just like, oh, that's where the water's going. I finally heard like water running, and it started running out the sides of the floors, under the floors.
Oh my god.
Which is like, there's literally nothing you can do except try to just bake the van out and blow air in there.
Yeah.
But it's 100% guaranteed mold. 100%.
And that was for your first van, you said?
That was my first van, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
under the subfloor. That's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just how it goes. So I just baked that van out. I put like kerosene torches in there, and but that was the worst. I almost lost it. That was like a year of my life dedicated to that first
Right.
Wow.
And then the water is what did
and
you
I'm watching
in.
the water at the end, and I'm just like, I'm just like, this can't be happening. Yeah, there's been a lot of mishaps, honestly, that are. The best thing is when it's just a financial thing. Like when it destroys the whole build, or when it's terrible like poop smoke. Those are the worst ones. Like ideally, you can, like they say, money can solve your problems. Is a pretty good problem to have. Some of them have not been solvable by money. So
I gotta say, like I've had some issues as a newer van owner and someone who didn't make my own van.
Yeah.
Because when you make your own van, you know where things are,
yeah,
and you generally know how things work. But like, I'll have little stuff like this last weekend, the little ball valve that closes my gray tank wouldn't close. And I'm like, okay, now I have to go find the fuse for it. I got to go see if that's broken. I got to see what's wrong. I mean, tons of stuff like that. And then, but the biggest issue I had was, it's still kind of an issue, is my suspension.
Yeah.
I think they put on the wrong size leaf spring. So it wasn't strong enough. So it's straight up bent. It bent.
Damn. Yeah.
And so my van on the back side, the ass side was just like on the
hanging,
ground. I mean, it was just like this. And I was looking at my van one day, I go, what the hell is wrong with this thing? It's like this. And so we had to have Nick take it over to Sprinter Pit Stop. And then they got a big fight about who messed that up, right? Like who spec'd it wrong.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're going with the biggest leaves. I mean, we're basically doing the biggest of everything now.
yeah, you have to
It's
get
just
the biggest you can get for that stuff. It's a safety issue. You're loading it up with thousands of pounds of batteries and water and all this stuff, and it's safety, right?
Yeah.
Like we're skipping on a few $100s more to
Yeah.
get better stuff on the suspension.
Well, and you guys also, we finally, Nick, there's still people building in 2500s, but I'm only building in 3500 XDs, the dualies now.
Yeah,
The all-wheel drive dually, because even if you're within spec when the van is empty, then you go and put your whole family in there, and like sometimes in my van I have like 10 people in the back.
yeah,
Like that's 1,500 pounds, but that's like almost 2,000 pounds plus the water, plus the extended diesel tank. If the water tank's full, the diesel tank is full. It's like 600-700 pounds each.
Yeah.
And then 2,000. I mean, that's another 4,000 pounds that could just be like, oh, now we have another 4,000.
So I'm saying you got to over-engineer that really really hard. Yeah,
Yeah, and then even in general, you already, even at stock, you want it to be you still want it to have room above whatever the max capacity of the vehicle is. So we basically have to go absolutely nuts. That's why the dually is a necessity for me now. I won't even touch
How
a
much more
single
weight
rear wheel.
can a dually handle?
2,000.
2,000 more?
It adds 2,000 more, plus then we upgrade the leaf packs.
Right.
But just the 4 tires is one of the main issues. Like just having 2 single rear tires, like on a 2500, is like, I don't even know why they make an extended van with single
I know.
tire. It's
I've
just kinda
got the
surprising.
170 extended diesel 4x4. It's like the biggest
Biggest
thing
van.
you can get, but it's 2,500.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like, okay, are you going to drive this thing around empty? Like, who's going to drive that van around empty?
Yeah. My kids are little. It's not a big deal.
I know, yeah. And it's fine anyway. It works, but it's just like, I think legally too, like, you can't. I don't think you're allowed to drive vehicles that are over the GVWR.
Are you?
I don't think I should know this, but
I don't know.
This is like a very custom industry. So.
Kind of newer too. I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
not the mass production, but the custom build production of these things by somebody else other than yourself.
Yeah.
It's relatively new. You know.
It is totally new. I mean, it's small enough to where like it's just unregulated. There's no like rule book that you're like, oh no, it says here you have to like there's no rule book on anything. So you can build vans that you're like, what wire should we use? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Okay, let's do this one.
Yeah.
And now it's getting to a point where we actually do know because we've tried everything.
Yeah.
But we're basically, when I started building, I was like, when I Googled stuff, I would just find forums that were like sailboat forums. And I would find like their electrical.
Yeah, you gotta use that or RV stuff, right?
Yeah, but it was like so much of what we were doing was missing. Like a lot of this got innovated over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Now you can just find anything you want, or ChatGPT can probably teach you how to build your.
Yeah.
But,
AI, of course.
Well, I've learned. I think the van stuff is tough, man. I learned some things because I'm like, after building my van, there's so many things I would change.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's reasons that you do go through iterations of these things, right? Like, I'm like, man, we never use this shower, but it takes up half of the space in my van.
Yeah.
Or even the seats that we have, like the kids don't even sit in the seats; they're always playing in the back.
Yeah.
I'm
Agreed.
like, man, what am I gonna do with? Like, I could have fit a straight up like a gourmet kitchen in here.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. That's why I don't do the OEM row of seats.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't do a shower on this last layout. But now we have to add a shower again because everybody wants a it's like showers are super marketable.
If you do the hidden shower at the entrance, like when you step in, it's not taking up more space. It's like,
well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
But then everybody I know is like, for a lot of people that are buying the vans, they need to feel, even if they're not going to use it, it sells them on the van.
Yeah, they want it to feel like home. That's why.
Yeah, and the girls want a place to go use the restroom and close the door and seal the door. They don't
not if you're pooping, man. God, you don't want to poop in the closed area in a van.
they just they want like ventilation.
And
they basically want a button in the wall that makes chime sounds or whatever, so that nobody can hear.
For privacy, yeah.
It's like I should probably put a button that's like a I'm pooping button.
Sure.
Like, the blast music.
Put an on-air button like a podcast studio.
Like it'd be so funny, but it is at that point where we do have to have at the price I'm trying to get for these like high 300s. People want 100% a bathroom sealed.
It just takes up so much space and valuable space. I know you try to put the bathroom in the back on the build. The last one, or one of the first like higher end ones that you made, right? With the toilet in the back also. How did that work out?
It worked good, and most people love that. I mean, that's the latest layout that I have live on the internet. So nobody's seen my new layout, which is going to get finished in about 2 weeks here, which removes the bathroom, turns it into a fold down shower, big partition wall, and then there's just a huge horizontal deep garage, so you have tons of storage. To me, that's like way more efficient. That makes way more sense for me. But what we're doing now, because I got extendeds now instead of just 170s, is we shrunk the kitchen down a little bit because the kitchen was a little too big. We have a little bit too much storage in the drawers. It's like nobody really needs all that. So we're shrinking the kitchen down. The bed and the benches, the bed and the benches in the front is always staying because it connects to the front swivel seats. Like that is like pretty fixed now, at least for my design.
I like how you did that, where you walk into the seating area.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the lounge is underneath the awning and it's outside. So that feels good. We're shrinking the kitchen. And then now we're doing in the back kind of a different thing. We're doing a pretty large garage still since it's an extended, but it's an L-shaped garage with a 2 foot or basically like a 3 foot by 4 foot cavity that's now a shower, but you still have a full horizontal garage and deep garage on one side. So like 2/3 of it is shower.
Yeah.
Still with the garage behind it. But the main reason I'm, doing the shower now is because it's not just a shower. So it is more multi-purpose. It has laundry and trash chutes in it going into the garage, which is cool. And then it also is going to be a full steam room and have red light therapy in it. So it'll be like a wellness room.
Yeah.
Which is completely overkill for a van. But all these CEO types, that want to go skiing all day or go park on top of a mountain with their Starlink and their studio display and their surround sound.
Yeah.
And then they want to go sit in a steam room for 30 minutes and like meditate and, manifest their next $1 billion. Like, I don't know what they want to do. But I think having that is going to be a really cool, unique feature. And basically my entire brand is doing things that are just kind of overkill.
Yeah.
But that you know, someone is like, I love that.
Right. And
It's
usually
like a
those
higher
people are
brand.
willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by doing those features, it distinguishes me enough to where I have zero competition, because they can't go find another van that has a steam room or like a wellness suite.
Yeah.
And they can't find another builder who will do it because it just sounds weird.
And you only need to find one person who wants to buy it.
Exactly. You know, or ideally next year, 10 people. I'm trying to next year. But, you know, ultimately, I think it gets to the point where, you know, these people just want to be able to like flex this to their friends. Yeah, my van has a steam room in it. What does your van have in it?
Pretty much.
Like,
I know. I always get the, oh, your van's so cool kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's not that cool. I wish I could change everything about my van so much.
I know.
I wouldn't be opposed to selling my van now.
Yeah.
I just wonder if I can get decent value for it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose my ass on the van. Because I like it, you know? It functions for our family well. It's fine. But there's so many things that I would change just for the way our family uses it that I'm like, can I just sell it and then start over? Right.
Well, welcome to the club. This is how everyone does it in the vans. That's why I take trade-ins too. Like I always take trade-ins for people if they want, you know.
Yeah.
Because one, I can make more money off of it.
Yeah, because you can flip that one back again.
It consolidates the whole process for them. It makes it easier. It just like, it's amazing how people's brain work on a trade-in. They think like, they don't realize that was like the money that they paid you. They just like go into this emotional state. They're like, oh no, it's a trade-in. I can buy whatever I want now. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
it
so,
is an interesting model.
Yeah.
And
so,
you're planning when you take a trade in, you're like, well, I'm giving you like 70 cents on the dollar because I gotta turn that around and sell it again.
And it's just another easy flip for me because I have the market, you know, I have the exposure to do it. So that works great for me. And same thing with cars. Like I'll take any trade in. I'll take a boat, crypto, car. You just like tell me whatever you have of value and I will like take everything you have.
See, that kills me because I'm like, wait a second, if Shaiden wants it, that means he's giving me less than it's worth.
Exactly. I'll take your man.
But however, you know it's a big thing with like real estate too, though, right? People are trying to avoid hassle.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to go through the hassle of trying to go and market their own car and, you know, put it on Craigslist or whatever and get the top value, where Shaiden's like, I'll do it because I know what I'm doing and it's easy for me. But for an average person,
they don't have
like
skills,
if I was selling like a $10,000 car and you're like, look, I'll give you $8,500, but I'll give it to you right now in cash.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell it. You don't have to post it. You don't have to take pictures. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to do anything. I'm just going to give it to you.
Yep.
Right? A lot of people be like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good deal because now, I mean, I don't have to go through all the work.
I just did that yesterday.
Did you? With what?
A Model 3 Performance.
Oh yeah,
I just got a Model 3 Performance with FSD for $25,000.
Does the FSD carry over though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
So,
okay.
Wait, $25,000?
Yeah, it's 70,000 miles on it. Dude, the thing drives like...
Yeah, great.
It feels as fast as my X Plaid that I just sold.
Yeah.
It handles way better. Like it has track mode. It has drift mode. Like the thing's so fun. And it's 25. I mean, it's unbelievable how powerful and fun that car is for $25,000 and the FSD.
And you know what? They're going to last forever. I mean, my old Model X that my wife's driving around has like 150,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Still great. I mean, the body's falling apart a little bit because, you know, the build quality is not the best, but the actual car itself, like the engine, whatever, the motor that you want to call it, the motors that are in there, the computers, like the computers are getting slow, right? But they were always kind of slow. I think they're just getting slower comparative to what is available now, right?
Yeah. But I will say this one I scored the upgraded FSD computer too. They had already gotten it upgraded.
Yeah.
Because Tesla was doing all those upgrades, and this guy like parked it in his garage. This was a great deal. But I'm gonna go wrap that car and I'll probably sell it for like 32, 33.
Yeah. How the hell did you find it?
Like Facebook. The morning of. Every time.
They had it posted?
Yeah, they just posted on Facebook. Showed up with cash though. You know,
it's
always the cash in hand. Like
a stack of cash, not a cashier's check. It was just a stack of cash.
Yeah, cashier's checks don't work.
Yeah,
that doesn't work. It's not the emotions.
Yeah,
you got to get people. People love seeing crisp, brand new. And when I go to the bank, I always ask for crisp, brand new stacks. Like they don't want to see old stacks. They want to see like a briefcase that they saw in like James Bond with a bunch of cash in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then they see that and they're like, "I'm a million."
That's interesting because if somebody brought that to me, like I don't want that. I'm like, I can't even spend that. What am I supposed to do with this? Like
most people, it depends on what seller there is, but most people that are in this market, like sub 100K, they love cash. they freak out. They're like, I've never even seen it because I financed the car in the beginning.
Yeah.
I've never even seen that chunk.
Yeah.
This is really cool. They just want it. They never say no. You put it in their hand too. and then they have to hand it back to you. It's like, are they going to hand it back to you?
Yeah, you're like, here, feel it, man.
Just feel it.
It feels great. Smell it.
Feel free to hand it back.
Do a little fan with it on your face.
Yeah, do one of these. Take an Instagram selfie.
Did you ever see that guy? Who is it on YouTube? Dawes, Big Dawes or whatever.
I don't know.
He went and bought a used Lambo from somebody, right? And he goes to pay him, and he just wheelbarrows in dollars, like $200,000 of $1 bills in cash. And they're like, I think he tried to do that with one guy, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna take that. I don't care, whatever. Then another guy was like, all right, I guess we're just gonna have to take it to the bank and count it. They literally took it to the bank for them to count every single dollar, 200,000 bills.
Like an hour or two.
Yeah, I'm just going. Can you imagine just rolling up to buy a Lambo in $1 bills?
I would love to do that.
Didn't Samsung do that to Apple? Like they won a lawsuit or something.
They paid them in pennies.
Yeah, they paid them in pennies. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, that's just to be annoying.
Of course. Yeah.
But
it's pretty funny. I think that's awesome. I would totally do that.
yeah.
If anytime you lose a lawsuit, you just pay them in pennies.
Dude, that's what it's all about. That's what life is about, right there. Like that's
pettiness.
I would never regret that. If I was on my deathbed, I'd be like, I absolutely would not take back
Totally
that moment. I spent all that in a whole day just to like get that guy. Like I would be happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, we're complete opposites, man. I let everything go. It's just like I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth
Your time.
I don't know, but it does feel good. It does feel really good to be petty sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's very satisfying. For sure.
Yeah, because a lawsuit had to be like billions for sure, and just paid it in pennies.
That's like all the pennies.
How do you get somebody to give you like $1 billion of pennies? That's like all the pennies in the world.
Yeah, like multiple trucks or something.
I can't imagine there's more than $1 billion of pennies circulating the country right now. They just started rounding them up. They sent a whole crew to go round them up from like every convenience store. Like, give me all your change, man. I'm gonna take it.
Well, even if it's like quarters or something, or half dollars, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
So, anyways, man. So you've got the van thing going still.
Yeah.
So you're trying to sell like 5 or 6 of those, 10 of those next year.
I'd like to hit 10 next year. I'm at 4 this year. So.
And then you got the house thing going on.
Yeah.
With that.
And that's kind of like it's kind of a shot in the direction that I want to start shifting to with the co-living.
Mm-hmm.
Like co-living is really what I'm most excited about over the next, I think, 10 years. The next 3 years, I'll keep working on scaling up the van. Just because it's kind of a cash cow for me. But after that, I'm going to start like really diverting my focus to community, like doing it at scale. And that's really
if you do stuff like that, do you ever have plans of maybe having a family and stuff?
Yeah, I want to be building communities I want to be building alternative, communities where you can raise your kids.
Interesting.
With like the schools built in and everything, so that you're like, I want to create like villages that solve all the problems of being a parent in terms of like, for me, it seems like finding a school that would actually be aligned with my values and what I think is important to teach.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to like, not redesign, but like build off of some of the other alternative schools out there and like have a community off grid, not like a bunch of hippies, but like super high tech, like where you buy into this little utopian community and we have all the teachers and everything there and all the kids can just run around freely. All the doors are open. It's not like you're just like living at your parents' house. You're like, you go over to all your aunts and uncles, and it's kind of like how it used to be. Like kids were raised by the whole village, and I would love to create something like that with all the experience of these next few different types of communities, and just kind of solve that problem. Because I think I always am solving problems that I experience. So it's like, right now my problems are that I want to live in or my problem is that I want to live in a mansion with a bunch of cool people. So I'm creating that. And after that, it'll be like, okay, cool. Now I want to move around the world and stay in these mansions. Cool. Now let's open up 10 of them. And then after that, it'll be like, okay, cool. I'm over that. Now I want to live in, really cool, like futuristic capsule style houses off grid with all my friends. Cool. Now we'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have kids. How are they going to live here? Okay, let's do that. And then it'll be like, okay, now I'm bored of Earth. I want to go to Mars. Let's design a community on Mars. You know, like that is really the long game for me. Is like I would love to be able to be like one of the, like when I'm like 40. You know, it'd be really cool to know that I'm like the leader in community design.
I was gonna say, like you're trying to start a cult or what?
Pretty
like, I want to be the leader,
the leader of community design.
Okay,
You know, like, I want to be like the lead
a
consultant.
pioneer, the pioneer of new community design.
Yeah. Like when, you know, like for example, like the Lion. Have you heard of the Lion in Saudi Arabia?
Oh yeah.
Building.
No, the line. Yeah.
Like I would love for like big projects like that to, when they're like figuring out who do we call to make sure that our social structures are designed properly and make sure that like the housing is designed around the needs of people, like not, you know what I mean? Like I would love to be the consultant that they bring in to design all of that. And also, you know, for example, if SpaceX is like, cool, we're going to Mars, we know how to build everything and send it there. How do we design like geometric shaped, you know, dome houses that are self-sufficient and, you know, kind of make people happy and connected and thrive. And like that's the goal for me for sure, is to be like the #1 expert in the world.
Interesting.
Years of experience.
Yeah.
And the vans are just like a first shot at alternative housing.
I mean, the vans are very, they are kind of in line with what you're trying to do. I mean, it's a very kind of tight knit community of people that all live a certain lifestyle, right? And so there a lot of times their goals are aligned, and they I think like van lifers tend to be pretty free spirited people, you know, and they're very in touch with their spirituality. And I mean, it's just how the community is, right?
They're
like
generally pretty aware because they're out of the matrix.
Yeah,
they're not like working their 9 to 5 forever. You know, they're free thinkers.
I don't like being out of the matrix, Shaiden. I go to the mountains and I'm like, no cell phone reception. I'm like, oh my, what am I gonna do?
Where's the matrix?
What am I gonna do? I mean, I had my phone next to my Wemo. I'm like, please get 1 bar so I can get a phone call if somebody needs me. Like that's how like locked in I am, unfortunately.
Blue pill. Yeah.
I like that. I'm like that too. I definitely could never live without infrastructure. So I'm just gonna I want my Cybertruck and I want my space age house and my Starlink, but I just want it like out in the middle of beautiful nature.
Yeah.
You know, with all my community.
That's what a lot of people I know have been. I mean, they're a little bit more established people, and they are buying property in Montana.
Yeah.
Like they're all buying property in Montana and Wyoming, and they're trying to live in communities up there that are similar. Like they want their space, they want their nature, and they want to live with like-minded individuals in a community like that. Montana might be a great place to start building one of these family communities, man. It's like you can buy 100 acres for $1 million in certain spots or less. It's crazy.
For $1 million?
Well, so Montana's weird, like, or in Wyoming and stuff. If you're in like Whitefish, or you can't even buy in Jackson Hole now. I mean, like if you're in Jackson, Wyoming, it's like you're basically playing like Newport Beach prices. You know, houses they're $30 million, $40 million houses over there. And you move to Whitefish, it's getting like that too, where you get a couple acre lot. It's $2, $3, $4, $5 million just for the lot. And there's houses that are at $7, $8, $10, $20 million over there too.
That's crazy.
Nuts. Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
it's like a hype train. But you go a little bit out, and you can buy a ton of acreage for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's craving the antidote to society and to the
I think
stimulation.
And you know who's getting it? All that is all the rich people.
Yeah. First, I mean, wherever they're going is probably where the trend is going.
Yeah.
If they're there first, they realize it first. They're like, I need to get away from the electricity and the internet and not electricity, but the stimulation of Southern California.
Right. Yeah. It's just to get more connected with nature and what the world was, I think, more supposed to be. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
same with the vans. Same thing.
The vans are cool.
It's the same. It's that's like a easier way for people to do it without having to buy property in a house.
I do feel like the vans are almost too much of a crutch sometimes because we made them so luxurious.
Yeah, you go out there and
Right.
you park in your van, keep your windows closed,
Yeah.
look at all the nature,
Yeah.
and then get back on your laptop.
Right. No, and I'm like, it was maybe like 38, 9 degrees out there this last weekend, and you just turn on the heater. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't even need a sleeping bag. Like literally,
Like,
it was so warm in the van.
No,
I'm like,
I
oh,
want
it's
to
too
stay in
hot.
my underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
I don't want a blanket. I'm just gonna lay out here like this.
But that's the best part is like then you can open your window and you get to like control your exposure to the environment. If you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. It's like
Yeah.
you get to just be fully comfortable and be right there and go on a hike or whatever, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever have anybody with you put Happy Jacks in yours, right?
Yeah.
How many people complain about it being too wobbly? I mean, like every movement in that van when I'm on the Happy Jack, like up top, it's just like
Oh, it moves around.
it moves around so much. Like the van moves around so much,
Oh yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, I really should get stabilizers, but then I don't want to drop another penny into this build
'Cause it's
because
so
I've got
tall.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the center of gravity like goes way up.
Right.
I will say, are you saying when you're driving mainly?
No.
Yeah.
Even when we're parked, we could be completely
Yeah.
level, but just any sort of motion anywhere in the van.
It has so much leverage. up
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You're just so high up there, it just waves, right? And the time I experienced it the worst, it was
I don't want to hear this, man. I'm just kidding.
no, it was like, but it was
What
like
are you doing up there?
no, it was 2 years ago. We're driving back from we're doing a cross country road trip from Atlanta back, and we stopped in, where was it? Somewhere in the Midwest. We stopped somewhere in the Midwest. I can't remember what city we were in. We were parked, and there was a windstorm. And it was probably blowing like 35 or whatever. And we're trying to sleep like in a parking lot, basically. And the wind's blowing 35 miles an hour. And when you're on the top,
Oh, it's like
the top bunk,
yeah.
it feels like the car is going to get lifted like Wizard of Oz style. And you're just going to be gone. I kid you not. I mean, that's literally what it feels like. And I'm like, man, I really should have got the stabilizers for this thing, because then you can just root yourself into the ground and it'll be a house.
You definitely can. Yeah, it's I noticed that I don't like when you're driving. That's the one thing I don't like about having so much weight that high up is like just driving down the road and taking turns.
Yeah.
You just get that sway, but we do play with the suspension enough now to where it like stabilizes, and the dually also kind of gives it more stability.
Yeah.
But we're also welding a new platform for that, so like the bed is super light now. It's all made out of aluminum.
Oh, interesting.
It's
Yeah.
like powder coated aluminum.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
it's- Instead of having like a bunch of steel and wood,
Yeah.
that usually adds so much weight.
You're trying
up
to bring
there.
the weight down, the center of gravity down.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now it's just like, a platform. Like you could lift the platform in on your own now versus before it was like 4 guys. So that helped a lot. And then the bed is not that, it's really not that heavy. So we're kind of getting there. But I'm kind of considering switching away from Happy Jacks and going to Pop Tops.
Yeah.
It's just Pop Tops are like $14,000 to buy them. It's like
It's so expensive.
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's
They're
like
just
it's like a
ridiculous.
tent with a frame on it.
It's kind of ridiculous. I think it's the freight, just the freight alone to get it to you, because it comes on a double pallet is probably like 2-3. It's just, I don't know. I think they make them in Germany or something. It's just, I don't know.
Why don't you just design them and make them yourself, man? Sounds like
I
something
get
you would
enough
like to
other
do.
ideas. I don't like manufacturing stuff. That's not the part that I like. I like assembling.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta follow your gifts and your skill set, and I'm definitely not good at manufacturing things.
I agree with you on that end quite a bit. Like, I think there's a lot to be said about stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can't go out a little bit and branch off into other things and explore them, but like your main area of focus should be things that you're good at, right? Like if you're really good at building community and doing stuff like that, then why would you spend your time,
Building the house.
but actually building the house, right? Or if you're the visionary type, you need to bring in operators to run those businesses that you've created, right? But a lot of times people don't have the self-awareness to know what they're good and bad at, and they want to think that they're really good at everything.
Yeah, it's that ego.
And so you get the people with the ego who are the the guys who are really like the creators, right? They want to also be the operators, and they go, oh, I'm the only one who can operate this because this is my idea.
Yeah.
And instead of having a business that's thriving because they have someone who really knows how to to do the day-to-day stuff, they let it kind of, fizzle out because they can't give it up.
Yeah, they can't handle everything, and they literally can't do it. And I've experienced that over and over and over.
Yeah.
That, like, luckily I'm learning these lessons relatively soon, but like I think that'll be one of the biggest shifts in my late 20s now is just understanding deeply what I'm good at, because I do have like the downloads of ideas constantly. Like if I had 3 different companies and 3 different like operators for those companies, and I could just call them or send them voice notes with what exactly they need to do, like the puzzle of the company and the vision for where it needs to go and the vision of its potential, even if it's never existed, like that part I got on lock.
Yeah.
So if I can just pay them and get them some equity, so that it's their baby too, like that, to me, that's going to be like my big shift, I think, over the next year, is really like leaning into that more. I think it's going to be like a compounding shift for me. So
I think it's interesting that you mentioned voice notes, because I think voice notes are a younger person thing. Like,
I love them.
You send text messages, right?
I do both.
He sends voice notes. He's like, I'll never get a text message from him. I just see a little audio thing, and it's like a minute long of, hey, I have, he's just leaving me a voicemail. It's like going backwards in time almost. You go from voicemail to text message back to voicemail, but it's like immediate.
Luckily now on iOS 17 it transcribes it for you. So if
Does
you
it?
want to view it, if you want to view it as a text message, you can. But for me, I will say I don't like getting voice notes. It's definitely something that's a one-way street. I'm like, I send you voice notes, you don't send me voice notes. Because it's a lazy thing, and it's more difficult to listen to them, I think.
But you can just hit the dictate button and do the same thing.
Yeah, but it's just, it doesn't do the same thing. They don't get the intonation. I need them to understand the intonation. I don't know why. Voice notes for me are everything. I only send voice notes. Like, unless it's
I know this. Unless
it's 1 or 2 sentences, that'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny. I've stopped texting almost completely, and it's because generally I'm doing something else, and so I can send you a voice note with all the information, really articulate.
Yeah.
You can hear my tone. You can understand what I'm trying to convey. And if I have to send you a text, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and type. And I don't want to get carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
So I hate typing with my thumbs.
See, so for me, most of the times when I send a text message, it is 1 sentence, right?
Yeah.
And if I need to speak with you beyond that, I just call you and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? I hate people. It drives me nuts. No, not that. It drives me nuts when people like don't want to have a conversation at all.
Yeah.
They're like, just text me. And then they only want to text. And I'm like, we can bang out this entire thing that we have to talk about in 45 seconds on the phone. But if we have to text back and forth and I have to wait for your ass and you're not clear, you're not clear on what you're saying, right? Because some people, when they text, they can't articulate what they're trying to say and over text, right? It just doesn't match. And so it takes a lot longer to get that done.
Well, that's a generational thing, right? Like our parents like to just talk on the phone, whereas voice notes is like a happy medium. That's why I was confused a bit, because the guy I work with on BJ Link, he sends me voice notes all the time, and he's about 40, and he like would rather do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I've like never sent a voice note in my life.
It's just so easy.
I just start today.
Once you start, it's addictive.
I don't even leave voicemails. Like
I don't do that.
I'll never leave a voicemail. I'll just hang up and I'll send them a text message about what I was voicemailing them, what the voicemail would have been.
Because I don't listen to voicemails.
I also don't like to listen to voicemails. When people leave me a voicemail, I'm like, you should have just texted me then. You know,
it is funny.
You should have left me a voice note.
These different dynamics are really funny. I don't know why they're different. They're not really like different. It's just I have my preference. I think I learned that from a couple of friends. Like most of my friends that are really effective, I'm always like analyzing everyone that is like, my age and beyond me, like everything that they do. If they're like, I'm super competitive, I do not feel envy. I just feel competitive. And so it's like, if I see someone doing better than me, I'm like every detail. And most of them send voice notes. Funny. At least at like my age bracket, like, they all are just like voice notes, delegation voice notes. They're just like, they have ideas. They're walking around the pool, in like some resort in some other country, and they're just like sending voice notes off to their team, just firing off ideas. And they kind of ramble a little bit, and it's probably annoying to get them, but they're able to get like all the information they need to get across. And that's kind of how I am too. Like, I'm going to ramble a little bit. I'm going to have to,
That's why it's a one-way street.
I don't want to hear you ramble.
Is there an app on your phone where you can kind of just like long press one of your side buttons and then just dictate a note to yourself?
Voice memo?
Like, well, like doing voice memos, but like, is it
idea.
easier, or do you have to open the app and stuff?
Well, that's actually interesting because the new iPhone has a button here that's an action button, so you can make it a shortcut to do that.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
think
idea.
that would be highly beneficial because
Yeah.
I do forget a lot of stuff. 2 minutes after I think it, I'm like, I had a genius idea and it's just gone. And for the harder I search, the further away it escapes me.
Yeah.
And I'd love to just be able to do.
Yeah. I have I know when I have any thought, idea, to-do list, idea for like a change in business, something, it all goes onto a list. And then like once a week I take this list of like scattered thoughts and I refine it into all these sub lists that basically like, but I capture every single one.
But those are all
Where
written.
I'm at. Those I write.
Got it.
Those I write. I put those on a to-do list. It's not a to-do list. It's just like it's like a capture, of like the ideas and downloads and thoughts.
Yeah. I think it's very important to be able to annotate like your thoughts as they come about, right? If you wait till the end of the day to consolidate those things without ever having written them down, some of the best stuff just disappears.
Yeah. Half of it disappears like a minute after I think it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll think it, and then I'm like, oh, I should write that down. And then I'm like, oh, let me order this at the drive-thru. And then I come back and I'm like, what was I thinking? Dang it, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that could have changed like my business forever. And I know that it was a great idea, and then it's just gone. So I'm really prompt about it. Like it's immediate. There's no messing around, and it's everything.
Al, I hate to admit it, but you know where I have my best ideas?
Where?
At church. I'll be listening to a sermon and I'm just like on my phone and I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta do that.
It's like background noise.
Completely backwards. Like sometimes I just space out and I have the best ideas. And I'm like, oh God.
Well, you know what it probably is that your conscious mind is distracted listening to this thing.
Yeah.
So your subconscious can work more effectively. It's the same thing when you're walking. I think they say 3.5 miles an hour. Like there's a certain speed of walking that distracts your conscious mind enough where it's like perfect that your subconscious can like really start just like dumping all these things out that it's been working on.
That's crazy.
And so like I find when I go on like a walk, it just starts like downloading crazy. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm really bad at focusing on more than one, like multitasking basically. But to the point where if I'm listening to a podcast and then I have a thought and that thought just kind of starts moving a little bit, I'll go back and I'm like, oh my God, I just missed 5 minutes of this podcast. I have no idea what they said. Like not one thing.
Yeah.
Like it just disappears.
Background noise.
Yeah. I can only do one thing at a time. Like I'll be writing a text message and my wife will be talking to me. I won't hear anything because my internal voice is writing this text message.
Yeah.
And then she gets mad and I'm like, what? Oh, and she's like, were you not listening to it? I'm like, no, I legitimately didn't even know you were talking.
The key on that is you got to have there's that other skill that at least I've developed that like no matter if I was listening to you or not, if I don't have to know what you're saying, but I have like a button that when she says, what did I say? I can pull out like the last 3 sentences of what she said. It's like a recording of the last 3 sentences that she said at all times, but I have no clue what it means. It's just I can be like da 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 da, and then she's like, "Wow, you were listening." No matter what,
you have that skill.
I have that skill.
That is amazing. That is amazing because I couldn't do it.
Like most of the time, I'm not listening.
Oh man!
But it's kind of just going on over here.
Yeah.
If it's interesting, I'm listening. But yeah, it's pretty tough to listen to something.
Yeah, or I'll be watching TV, and when I watch TV, I like to actively watch TV. Like so, if I'm watching a show, I want to hear every word and I want to absorb all that stuff. So if she starts talking to me, she knows that she better pause that thing or I'm not going to listen to her, or I'm going to pause it and then rewind it 30 seconds so I can get back into
honey,
it.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. But what happens inevitably is like, I'm pause. Okay. She talks to me and then I go and turn it back on and then she talks to me again. And I'm like,
pause it again.
And I'm like, all right, let's just get it all out at once here. We don't have to do this. We don't have to play this game. Let's just get it all out.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
You don't do that?
It depends for me, but I think it's a very human thing to only be able to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like super common.
I think it's a male thing.
My wife
is it a male thing?
No, my wife can do 45 things at once. I mean, she never does only one thing. If she's watching TV, she's also texting and on Instagram and then like doing her little. She's got a new like vintage stamp business where she sells like collections of vintage stamps on Etsy for like if you just wanted to send snail mail, but you wanted to look really cool, if you put some really cool stamps on there,
old stamp, that's cool.
Yeah, like old stamps that just look awesome,
That's funny.
Is she sponsoring the podcast while you plugging it?
Yeah. What's going on here?
It's called Little Postage Shop on Etsy.
I'm gonna bleep it out.
But yeah, she could do a ton of stuff. It's amazing, and she still absorbs a lot of it. And I'm like, man, if I had that talent, I would make so much money because I would be able to do a lot of things at once where I can only do one.
I think that's the they say that's like the biological difference in our brains as men. We spent so many years like being like mammoth, hunt, kill. That's it. And then they were just sitting there in the village with the baby over here, breastfeeding, and they're gathering everything, and they're doing laundry with this hand, and then they're sweeping over here, and then the men are coming back. They got to cook some dinner. They got the food on the stove.
Yeah.
They got like a ton of things to
That's
think
a good
about.
point.
And so it's like they had a bunch of shit to do versus we were like standing behind a bush like.
Equally important.
New animal. Okay, and you forget about that one. Now you're just focused on this one. It's like
That's
so
a great
I think that is
point.
the difference, really.
That's right. I mean,
That makes sense.
Yeah, you're hunt, kill,
Achieve.
sex,
Procreate.
Go back.
procreate. That's it.
Yeah,
It's provide and procreate. Provide and it's just
Did
that's
you?
it.
I was listening to Rogan the other day, and he was talking about chimpanzees.
He's always talking about
I know,
chimpanzees.
he loves chimpanzees.
Every episode.
No, but they're saying like, hey, you know how smart chimps are, and he's like, yeah, they taught chimps how to use money, and so what they do is they give,
I know
they
exactly
give these like little like tokens basically, right? And what they could do is they could take those tokens and trade them in for candy, right?
Wow.
So they learned that they could trade them in for candy, but then what all the males ended up doing was taking those and giving them to the females and getting a bunch of sex, and then the females
They go trade it in for candy.
they were trading it for sex. It was
No
prostitution.
way.
The females were collecting coins for sex.
And then the females are eating all this candy. It's like chimpanzee OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
The
anyway.
oldest profession in the world.
Holy crap. Hey, we've been
that
going
was
for a
really
long
funny.
time.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
But hey, speaking of candy, Shaiden, so we started doing this thing. Have you ever played Bean Boozled before?
Bean boozled?
Yeah. Have you heard of it? Okay, so Alan's going to do this because I'm on a new diet where I can't eat any candy. But
Dang it.
Bean Boozled is a game made by Jelly Belly.
Okay.
The jelly beans.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of different jelly beans in here.
Yeah.
There are good jelly beans and not so good jelly beans. But they're indistinguishable from each other.
Okay.
And
you can't
so-
see the difference?
Yeah, so what you do is you spin this thing, it'll tell you
no.
which jelly bean you get. And one is good and one is bad.
Brutal.
It's
okay.
50-50.
Kev, you could eat one jelly
No,
bean.
I cannot, man. I'm trying to reset.
jelly
It's
bean?
my gut health at risk, Alan. Would you put my health at risk?
He's just
He's just getting out of it, dude.
All right, bro.
He knows that all
This
the
is not
jelly
good.
beans taste terrible. That's the thing about this game is that every single one is bad.
Hey, look
Wait
at
till
this.
you hear the
I'll
flavors,
give
though.
you. Here, let's play a pretend round.
Okay, I'm ready.
So you could get juicy pear. Sounds
Okay.
pretty good. Or booger.
Straight up.
Like, I have to choose between them?
No.
No.
Oh, I
You don't
can
know
get
what you're
either
going to get.
You get one of these green ones, and it's either going to be juicy pear or booger.
Hey man, a younger
Okay.
version of me probably would have been okay with the bigger one.
Here you go.
That's
here you go.
actually true.
Or this is the worst: strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish.
Ooh.
That's pretty
fish
bad.
Oh, yeah.
Jelly bean? Or do you have the jelly beans in there?
Yes,
They're all
here.
in there.
Now,
Okay, well,
by all accounts, the worst one you could ever get is Old Bandage. Was that the one?
old band.
No, the plastic one was.
That was
like the
Old
worst
Bandage,
one.
wasn't it?
Is it old? You might be right.
Yeah, that was Old Bandage.
Does it actually taste like? Have you tasted these?
We've both the first time we did it, we
did
both got dead fish.
That was pretty bad.
And Chris outside
Bad.
got
He got an old bandage.
yeah, he got Old Bandage, and he was disgusting.
Bean boozled. I want to try one.
Okay, so here are the rules. Here are the rules, Shaiden. If you swallow it, you don't have to go again. Okay, you have to eat it. If it's so bad you spit it out, you spin again
You gotta go again. Okay.
until
alright,
you can swallow it. Here you go. Let's
I'm
see
in.
what you do. So you spin it.
I like this. I want to get this.
Yeah, spin it.
What'd you get?
Old bandage.
Oh, wow.
Wait. What's the alternate?
Pomegranate.
Okay, pomegranate or Old Bandage. So now you gotta go in there and find. You pop the top off
Okay.
and go find that
What?
the one that looks like that.
Yeah, there's a ton in there.
Oh, it's like a mat. No way. This is so annoying.
Does it smell wonderful too?
It doesn't smell great.
Wow. It does not smell good. Oh, there's only one that's like that. Oh wow.
Oh, there's only one that's like that?
No. I'm saying. Dang. What do we got?
All right, Shaiden, you got it. It's the red one. You're good. Which one of the red ones is the good one?
Unbelievable. There's only 2 different colors.
What do you mean? There should be the same color.
There's one that's like a slightly different color, but there's only one of that one, and then there's 4 of the ones that are the color that looks like this.
Oh yeah, you gotta take one of those.
Interesting.
Yeah, but okay.
All right, wait. Alan will play with you.
I'll do it with you.
Okay, Alan will play with you.
I'll do it with you. You could spin for me.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just grab it.
I don't want to spill it here.
All right, just spin the top for him so he knows what he's getting.
You got birthday cake or dirty dishwasher?
Okay, show him what it looks like though.
What's the color?
Oh, it looks like a white one with a bunch of spots on it, but small spots, not the one with big spots.
Got it. Okay.
This is
I
good
like
times.
this
Is it like colored spots?
Yeah, little colored spots.
Yeah,
Like birthday cake.
That one could be stinky socks if you got one. With
Oh
big
geez,
spots.
I haven't tried stinky socks yet. So
Okay.
Well, you hang up your gi in the
Right here.
neighborhood. So.
Okay, dirty
no, I do that
dishwasher.
outside now.
Yeah.
Dude.
Here we
All right.
go.
Oh god.
Yep.
Good luck.
Buddy.
Godspeed.
Oh! I got birthday cake.
Oh god, dude, that tastes terrible. Are you kidding me?
Oh man. I'm so glad I got birthday cake.
I'm sorry, Shaiden.
Oh my god, dude.
Just swallow it quick, man.
I don't know why I'm chewing it.
The problem is getting out of your teeth. Hey, here's water for you, buddy.
Ooh,
How do
birthday
they
cake
get
is
that
great.
flavor?
I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
Can you imagine how much experimentation that takes to get that flavor?
Oh my god.
There were
That
humans.
tastes like a little
tasting
band-aid.
this.
Oh, that's
It actually does.
Oh my god. I didn't even know that's
We've apparently heard that's by far the worst one. So
We also heard that's the one that
what does old
that
Band-Aid even
lingers.
taste like? I'm so curious.
Feel free, bro.
No, I'm good, man.
Just
My
eat
day will
some-
come though,
You got
because we're playing
birthday
this with
cake?
every guest. I got birthday cake.
Dude, I gotta get this thing. I love this.
Look, yeah. So you can buy it on Amazon.
this
It's
is
a
like
little, it's a little bit of a ripoff.
It's like a podcast hazing ritual.
Yeah,
It is. I think it's just a fun thing to do to wrap up a podcast. You know, like just spring it on people that they're playing Bean Boozled.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for Milky Way now, hopefully.
yeah.
There you go.
Wash it
Perfect.
down, man.
You know
Wash
that's
it
the whole reason we put water and candy up here,
You're
so you
like-
can wash it down.
Ah, I see.
On another note, Suja, that drink. I guess I just talked to a guy who, one of his clients was just like the distributor for them, right? But
My buddy was a controller.
They sold for like 300 million or something
To
like that,
Coke.
right? That's
Yep.
crazy.
And she's from Carlsbad, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
We're in the wrong business though. We
Yeah.
should be in the drink business. Like
Dude,
a lot of
Coke
these
is
drinks.
It was
Awesome.
Coke that bought it, I believe, like years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, my buddy used to be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm drinking
Alright.
a Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. It's been an hour, Shaiden.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you need to go. So thanks,
talk.
dude. Appreciate
Yeah.
you coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks
Well,
a lot. man.
Super fun.
Yeah. Anytime you want to come by.
Let's do another one.
Yeah, we'll do another one anytime.
Oh, you got to come back when we redo the studio too.
Yeah. And then if you want to do your own pod, we'll get you in the.
Yeah, we'll
get
make
you
it
all
happen.
set up.
That would be cool. I'm down.
All right. Awesome. I gotta go
Thanks, guys.
freaking take my girls to soccer.